What's going on, vampires? Strange Religion here with another V Rising video. Today we managed to talk to the CEO of Stunlock Studios, Jeremy Bearson, aka Bearamy, and we have an upcoming shift to the PvP meta. So first and foremost, you all have been asking for it, and it is on the way. The first thing on the chopping block for the upcoming shift is your all-time favorite, horse lording. The reign of the Horse Lords is indeed coming to a close, and although we don't know the exact specifics, I would guess for sure that we're going to see at the very least a nerf to damage while on horseback. And of course, there are so many things that they can do to make horse lording less viable and shift to a more ground aspect, right? Because we see so many players using the horse lord strategy in PvP, but also to fight bosses. A lot of the world record speedruns we've been seeing have had players horse lording Ferocious Bear and Quincy, and then a lot of other bosses out in the field like Christina the Sun Priestess and Leandra, a lot of the tier 2 bosses as well. And so moving forward, we are going to see players on horseback less often and getting punished more for using them. So be prepared for that coming change. Next up, we have the Chaos Volley. Chaos Volley is a tool that nearly every player has gotten used to using in both PvE and PvP. And so we're going to be seeing some changes coming with that as well. And although, again, we don't know the specifics, we know it's on the chopping block. So probably a nerf to the overall damage or the amount of time between Chaos Volley bolts, or perhaps an increased cooldown. Either way, we have access to so many spells and abilities. It really is a little bit unfortunate that so many players are using just the one. And so the meta will be shifting, and we'll see a lot of other abilities in its place, like Frostbat, of course, a fantastic ability with freeze, and just so many other options are available to us. Next up, and finally, what we know for sure is being looked at by the developers is 100% Scholar Blood. And this really ties to Chaos Volley, because 100% Scholar Blood is just going to give you such an impactful amount of damage to your spells, and also the ability to recast makes Chaos Volley the most deadly spell in the game right now when mixed with Scholar Blood 100%. Having 4 Chaos Volley bolts coming out is essentially going to 100-0 a player. And so we're looking forward to all of these changes and seeing what players come up with and how this affects the tier list of abilities for PvE and PvP as all of these changes come forth. So we know those 3 things are for sure being looked at and are going to be worked on by the development team in the upcoming PvP changes hotfix. But what we also would like to see change, and what we've suggested, is for the Siege Golem to become controlled by AI. That way the sieging team will be able to move freely while defending it, and it will act as just kind of a rampaging monster, destroying nearby walls, players, and servants. And what we know is in the game files, but we don't have any details on, is the Sulfur Golem. And so after talking to the CEO and trying to peel information there, I think the Sulfur Golem is going to be a golem which explodes if not destroyed in a certain amount of time, and that's going to deal massive damage within our radius to players, monsters, and walls. And so we're looking forward to seeing these siege changes be implemented in the future to get a different aspect and a different take on sieging and making it a little bit more interesting. And it would also be fun, of course, to see new siege mechanics and new siege weapons put in place. So this game is still in early access, and we have a long way to go, but as it stands, it is a fantastic game. Now, the CEO of Stunlock Studios has asked me to compile a list of changes that we would like to see to the upcoming PvP meta change and hotfix, or patch, whatever you want to call it. And so below in the details of this video, you will find a link to a document that the tournament participants are editing and commenting on. And so feel free to do that. We'll be submitting that probably tomorrow or in the next 2 or 3 days. So we would love feedback and more players from the PvP community to make changes and suggest hotfixes. And by the way, please tune in for the $200 Duos Cash Cup, which is going on right now, partially sponsored by Stunlock Studios. Now, this is the 4th tournament in a summer-long series, and so far we've given away over $500 in cash, along with tons of codes for DLCs and the base game. So we're looking forward to having new players out there, and the competition is getting fierce as bosses are tuned up to 150% health and damage, while monsters are 120% health and damage. So we're looking forward to getting players out in the world, speedrunners, PvPers, and anybody who wants to try their hand. This tournament is currently non-merciless, so now is a really good time to jump in. This is day 3 of 7. So thank you all for tuning in. This has been another V Rising video, and I'll see you for the next one.